Many thanks for making time for us today. And of course, it's day 5 of the 14 days stipulated by the Constitution, Article 140, for a presidential petition to be heard and determined. And today is the last day by which any respondents can file their affidavits in response to any of the petitions that were served or delivered to the Supreme Court on Monday. This is what's happening so far. IEBC Vice Chair Juliana Cherera and Commissioner Justus Nyangáya have accused the Electoral Commission Chairperson Wafula Chebukati of presiding over irregularities in the August 9th presidential election. Now, Cherera, in her submission to the Supreme Court, says Chebukati worked alone and sidelined other commissioners on critical duties, as well as delegation of important roles to IEBC staff. Commissioner Nyang'aya also now says that a foreigner and 3 IEBC staff were able to access the servers, pull down results from polling stations, and upload fresh ones. Safin Achieng has been camping at the Supreme Court, specifically the sub-registry there at next to the Milimani Law Court, since early morning, and now has more details for us. Safin, what more can you tell us this afternoon?
Indeed, Wahiga, thank you so much. We're coming to you live from Milimani Law Courts, like you have rightfully indicated, at the sub-registry of the Supreme Court right here at Forodha House. It has been quite a day here because this is actually the final day that respondents in the presidential petitions filed are expected to be filing their responses. So a few have done so this particular morning, and of course you're going to stay here till the tail end of the day, expecting more to come and file their responses here. So key among them is commissioners of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, that is Commissioner Justus Nyangáya, and the vice-chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Juliana Cherera, who have already filed their responses. Remember, they have been mentioned as respondents in the petition that was filed by the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga and his running mate Martha Karua, who are actually just citing quite a number of issues that inform why they want the Supreme Court to nullify the 2022 presidential election. So just to take you through the key highlights of the affidavit by the vice chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, of Juliana Cherera, she says actually she's accusing the chairperson of the commission of what she terms as lack of transparency and treating other commissioners with contempt. She says that ever since herself, together with Commissioner Justus Nyangáya and Francis Wanderi joined the commission, they have noted a few issues in their working relationship with the chairperson of the commission. And this touches on quite a number of fundamental functions of the commission, which include the fact that in the transfer of returning officers in the run-up to the 2022 general election, the chairperson did not consult the commission on this decision. Actually, she says that on 30th of March 2022, the chairperson circulated a list to political parties that indicated his intention to transfer returning officers of different polling stations. And of course, this was something that was done without the approval of the commission. The commissioners held a meeting when grievances were raised about this, and of course this actually resulted to them agreeing that based on the short period leading up to the election, they will just ratify the transfers of the returning officers, but they were going to come up with clear guidelines on how such transfers were going to be implemented in the future. But of course, something else that she has touched on is the fact that the commission chairperson Wafula Chebukati failed to convene a meeting to appraise the commissioners on the implementation of the recommendations that were raised by the independent audit that was conducted on the voter register by KPMG. That also was one of the issues she has said the commissioner chairperson failed to do. But another key issue that actually is raising a lot of concern is the fact that Juliana Cherera is claiming that they were not informed about a decision that was taken to print 2 Form 34As. And this is something that they only found out when they visited Lycos, this is a company that was contracted to print ballot materials in Greek. They did a visit on 21st of July, the year 2022, together with Commissioner Francis Wanderi and other stakeholders key in the electoral process, and only discovered about that particular decision to print 2 Form 34As with this regard. This is something that she said raised a lot of controversy, leading to a meeting that was held by the presidential candidates on the 29th of July that brought together IEBC and the presidential candidates just to discuss the way forward on, among others, this particular subject of printing 2 copies of Form 34As. So what was decided in this crucial meeting was the fact that they were going to revert to the original plan, which was to use only 1 copy of the Form 34A, but the other, which had already been printed, was to be sealed in a tamper-proof paper and sealed in the presidential ballot boxes. So that was the way forward. But critical concern there was the fact that even in this critical decision of deciding to increase the copies of Form 34As on which the results of the presidential elections are indicated and recorded, the commissioners were not consulted by the chairperson. So she was only informed also of the arrival of presidential, the first batch of presidential materials in the country on the 6th of July at 9 p.m. That was to inform her that the first batch of the ballot papers were arriving in the country on the next day. But just joining me to, just speak more on this particular matter, to just give more light about the response by Juliana Cherera is, Anthony, who is Apollo Mboya, who is representing her in filing this particular response. So just to get your, depth into this, what are some of the key issues that the vice-chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is raising in her response to the petition that has been filed?
Thank you very, very much. I've just filed today the response of the vice-chair to the Electoral Commission. While I will not go deep into it, but the vice-chair has laid bare what was happening in the commission when they came in as commissioners in September 2021 and up to the date of election and after the election, so that Kenyans can know what was going on in the commission. Basically, that is what I've filed today, and Kenyans will understand whether they had a commission or they only had Chebukati. Yes.
Maybe just to cite 3 key issues that stand out for you that gives her response weight. What is it that stands out for you?
The main issue is governance and how it was a one-man show in the commission, and how the commissioners were being treated by the chair of the IEBC. And it will be clear when the case starts, and the whole of the country will see whether there was an electoral commission or not. Yes.
All right. Just final question. In that response, does she indicate also her attempts to gain back her position as part of the commissioners at the commission? Because she has cited quite a number of issues that says they were sidelined, they were left out on most of the critical decisions that the chairperson took. What is it that she did as a commissioner representing the interest of the public, and has she indicated that in her response to the petition?
Yes, the vice chair has laid bare everything and all attempts to improve the governance structure within the IEBC, including various internal memos. Again, she has also put minutes of meetings and the concerns that they raised. And even as far as yesterday, when they requested the chairman to convene a meeting so that they can take a position on the election petition, they got a response from the CEO on the direction of the chair that they will meet on 31st of August. That is well above the time that the responses are supposed to be filed. Today is the last day of the response. The chairman is not ready to meet them, and it is in writing up to August 31st. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. Of course, it is a document that we'll continue to interact with to understand the depth of it. But like he says there, the issue that has been raised is the fact that the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission in most of the critical decisions acted unilaterally and left the other commissioners out of the decisions they took. That's Apollo Mboye, who has just filed that particular response on behalf of the vice-chairperson of IEBC, Juliana Cherera. Briefly, also, some of these grievances that have been raised have been supported in the response that was filed by yet another commissioner, Justus Nyangáya, who also has complained about the fact that they were left out, especially on the day that the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission was set to make the declaration of the presidential results. Commissioner Nyang'aya says that on the days and the hours leading to that particular announcement, they were sidelined and, in fact, ambushed on the last minute. And this is what informed his decision of walking out of the National Tallying Center on that fateful day as the chairperson was just set to make that particular announcement. Of course, he says that the chairperson made the decision to announce the outcome of the presidential results without having verified results from 27 constituencies, which might have influenced the outcome of the entire outcome of the presidential results. So he says that personally he cannot ascertain or verify whether what Wafula Chebukati announced on 15th of August 2022 is correct, in as much as he acknowledges that Wafula Chebukati has the power to declare the presidential results. He cannot do that. He cannot declare results that have not been confirmed to be correct by the other commissioners. So in as much as he can act as the presidential returning officer, he also has to act within what is enshrined in law. As a commission, there are 7, so that decision has to be taken jointly as 7 commissioners. So many issues still contained in the response by Justus Nyangáya. Of course, we'll be continuing just to break down this for our viewers as we continue to look at what is happening here at the Milimani Law Courts. In the afternoon, word is that more responses will be filed. But for now, we hand it over back to you in studio, Wahiga.
Thank you, Safina Cheng, for that update. I can assure you Kenyans are eagerly awaiting, if it'll come, that affidavit from